Riders ready, watch the gate.
Thanks for joining the Dirty Knobs podcast. This week's episode is with Mr. Robbie Morales, Woodward camper, owner of Cult BMX, Braddock local, trail boss. I mean, this guy has done it all. He's a longtime friend of ours and can't wait to share with you. Stick around to the end. We're going to have a little special advertisement from Robbie himself and a little snippet for our subscribers. And speaking of subscribers, hey, make sure you push that button, man. Give us a subscription. Just subscribe to us so we can send you a present. Our subscriber this week that wins a box of stuff is Hard Bait. That's HARDB number 8. You have won a big box of stuff, man. We'd love to send it to you. So send us an email at dirtyknobspodcast@gmail.com. or you can just visit our website and contact us through that. That is dirtyknobs.com. Speaking of the website, hey, woohoo, get yourself one of these hot t-shirts. We'd love to sell you a t-shirt. You can sport that thing out in public and let people know that you are a dirty knob. And now, time for the show.
You got your mic plugged in now?
I think so.
You see.
Recording in progress.
Recording in progress.
Hold the gate, Starter. Hold the gate.
Hey,
Hold the gate. Hold Mr. Starter. Hold the gate.
Oh, man.
Magnum, you need some
Hold
light
on.
on. You're looking a little.
I got yeah, oh, yeah.
Get
Brother,
your
that's
hold on, let me
that's
get
the
my-
Hawaii.
let me get my
look.
studio
Oh,
lighting.
dude, look at him.
Studio
Hawaii.
lighting, boys. Hold on, in the sushi parlor. Oh, yeah, there's one. If you guys could see my lighting. Oh,
Are the burners on? All the burners are on in the sushi bar.
You got the tiki torches on there, Magnum?
Hey, look at that.
There you go.
Oh,
Brother, you're
that's
still on
fantastic, huh?
You're
Is it
still
too
on
dark?
vacation.
Is it too dark?
It's dark.
Man, somebody changed the light bulbs. Hold on. Let me.
I'm gonna change the light bulb.
Who changes light bulbs?
Let me get a light bulb.
I never noticed that he had, what is that, cheetah skin on his chair?
Oh yeah, that's like leopard skin.
Yeah. You normally have to go to a brothel
For that
to
type
see a
of,
chair like that. Not that I've ever been to one.
yeah.
I mean, for movies. I'm getting that from movies.
Oh, this fucking light. Oh, excuse me.
It's a family channel, man.
Yeah, my bad.
Cocksucker.
All right.
Mm.
I gotta work it. Oh man, brother.
Tell me.
I did all kinds of.
Boy,
Does EC, do you know we have a website?
see what we got.
EC's not down with the interwebs.
I was working on.
Look at that. What is that? Is that a sticker?
Yeah, it is. We have
Look
stickers.
at
Little
you.
better.
Hold on. Where is I put it out
Hold on.
here. I knew you were gonna ask
Uh-huh.
about it.
That's
go.
fantastic. Stickers.
We got stickers. I put one on here.
James, James, can I have some stickers? Some stickers? Can I have your number plate? James,
Oh, yeah. One more.
what is... I
I
have
don't know,
no
what
idea.
is
what
he
he's doing.
changing the light bulbs?
I think he's changing.
Woo!
He's changing his gearing on his bike. I don't know.
All right, let's see if this works better.
Hey, maybe you should call BC Dave and have him do the work.
Dude, you got to get
What's
your head.
that?
Where's your headgear?
Come on, Major Tom.
How am I looking?
Now you went on vacation and you forgot all the stuff.
Yeah,
How
I
you
forgot
like
how
me
it
now,
works.
bitches?
I said you're gonna have BC Dave fix your lights for you
Exactly.
since he always worked on your bikes.
I'm still on Maui time right now.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Good thing TC flew you in his chopper.
That's right.
Hey, check out JV's microphone holder.
Brother, we have stickers. Oh, I was saying before you didn't hear us. I was trying to
Dude,
like take a knock on you, but we have a website actually.
Do we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Dude, coming up.
Look at that. Check it out. Check it
And
out. check it out.
t-shirts. I sent you
Check
Check it out.
it out.
EC,
did you get I sent you a box.
Yeah, there's a box. There's a box downstairs. I didn't get.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't opened it yet. You know what? Should I go get it and open it?
No, save it for Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is that water?
Yeah.
Did
Hydrate.
you run out of Bush Light or whatever that was? Keystone, whatever that was you had last time?
I got a couple of Natty Lights still in the
you go.
fridge. Yeah, and then I got some of that. I got some of your favorite IPA grass cuttings. And then
feed that to the cows, man. Ugh.
and I actually got some 805s too.
All right.
805 is all right, but tonight I'm just gonna have some water. It's hot, dude. It was a hot day. It's hot in Cali right now, dude. It was like 103 out there on the tractor today working, and it was just, whew.
Wow.
Yeah, it was hot. Yep.
Hot in the city.
That's right. Hot in Hemet.
Yeah.
So I was saying before I had to fix the website a little bit on the t-shirt stuff because Biff had put in an order, and I think that the way the shipping calculated was like messed it up.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't, which is fine. He didn't go through with it, but I was able to figure out how to. It's hard to figure that shit out. Like you're like a Sherlock Holmes trying to go through different websites and search. How do you make it only charge one shipping cost versus like every time you put a shirt, like in your cart, it was like charging shipping costs for every one of the shirts, which is why probably Biff abandoned it and didn't go through, but it's all fixed now. So
was it shipping to Chandler or to Mechanicsburg?
I didn't look at the address actually, but I could. Yeah, Mechanicsburg.
That's where our friend Biff is from. EC.
Yeah.
Yep. Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
Biff hooks it up.
Oh man, Biff is the
Oh
mayor.
yeah.
He would take us out. He would take us out bowling to the movies till dawn.
Dude, I know about the movies till dawn.
Dude, I know
You definitely know about the movies till dawn.
Dude, somewhere right now, somebody's telling a story about movies till dawn and some crazy guy.
You know what? Good thing it was a long time ago where they don't have cameras like everywhere, because that would definitely have been caught on camera.
Oh, it would have been viral. The thing would have been viral. The windshield on that car was viral.
It would have been a viral infection.
Yeah, the windshield on that car was viral.
Dude, when you lose a bet, you got to pay up, man. You lose a bet.
Dude.
Fast pay makes fast friends.
You gotta
row of the Dusk Till Dawn movie theater.
You gotta honor your bets, man.
Very true.
We're in the front row. We were in the front row.
Dude, I was so scared.
Oh, so good.
I can't believe you made me do that.
I can't believe that turd stayed on that windshield for 3 days and just was petrified.
Well, you put the windshield wipers on, so
that just they call that a pap smear.
Oh gosh, man.
Oh, so good. We're gonna have to tell that whole story sometime.
We'll have
where's
Naga?
Where's the Naga?
He's coming. Here we go.
Take two.
Take two with the Naga.
Take two.
Attack of the baby Naga. Take two.
Woo! He's coming in hot, isn't he? Oh, there it is.
Where's the Wonder Boy?
Oh,
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
you got us.
Here he is.
What up, y'all?
Are you at the headquarters?
Yep, we're staying late.
Dude,
Dedication.
Naga's, he's watching those cameras, dude. He's watching those security cameras.
You know it.
He's checking out Shadeville in the alley.
Oh man.
You know there's some Grand Theft Auto shit going on in those alleys right now.
Santana, can't beat it.
You ought to just pay those hobos to stand guard or do something.
Exactly.
They're out there anyway.
Yes, indeed.
Oh man. Well, our special guest, JB, why don't you tell us all about our special guest?
Oh man, I'd have to go back into the pages since we're doing take 2 now and go back to the original book.
Woo.
Robbie, the baby Naga Morales, the king of Long Island.
That's right.
Thank you.
No, brother, you are awesome. And my God, it was great. It was actually great being with you when we first did it. And so everybody knows this is take 2 of an interview here with Robbie, but I did a calculation. It didn't work out because it was basically our first interview, and we messed up, trying to set it up, and
We never mess up. What are you talking about? We're
we
tech
couldn't
wizards.
get the microphones working. We had echoes going on. Robbie, I told Mike that because I recorded it on my iPhone.
Yeah.
You know how long it took us to start really recording? Hour and 5 minutes.
Nice.
It took us
Loading time. Hour and 5 loading.
That's the bonus, dude. That's the bonus round.
Indeed.
Just
Gotta
to
have the bonus.
to stack the shoeboxes so we could get our laptop to the night.
Yeah.
And then the computer that has all the security monitors on it humming in the background right next to the microphone.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't get the old computer to get the new app.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's right. That's right. And then you used your phone for a little while to try and get the video working.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I got 15 minutes of video, Robbie, and it's just a 15 minutes. Hilarious. Absolutely
beautiful.
Hilarious. Yeah.
Of course it is.
How could it not be? You're the pedigree, man. You're the pedigree of some humor. You're second generation.
I learned from the best.
Oh man,
I love it.
We were talking last week. We were talking about to Bombert and Grubbs, and we were talking about famous, who did what coming out of the camp as a camper, and we all agreed that you are the biggest success story. All the campers.
Hell yeah,
man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, you and the guy that came up with the Spartan games.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Straight copy out of the Midnight Olympics.
Yeah,
That's right.
Literally.
Exactly.
Oh,
You guys could have been millionaires, man.
We blew it.
Stuck in the bike industry.
Yes.
We were laughing
man.
so hard to thinking about that, man, and how we absolutely, all of us just absolutely adore you.
Thanks.
I think we all had a hand somehow in your bad habits.
Yes. Yes.
And a little in your good habits.
I'm thankful for all of it, though. Best times.
It's a full package.
Yes.
All the goods and the bads.
Yeah. You got to learn from someone.
That's right, man.
Well, we were taught. I wanted to go back and just say one thing that when we all first met you the first time, we were all thinking about who you were then and who you are now, and the transition, the transformation of the kid that looked stylish. You were always stylish. You had a great riding style, but none of us thought, "Wow, this guy is going to be like king of the world."
Yeah.
Who knew? But you always had that style. And I was looking at a picture today of you and Todd Lyons racing cruiser. I think it was in Louisville.
I saw that one.
Yeah, I saw it.
I mean, just a great style, a great riding style. You looked fantastic.
The big numbers.
Big numbers, big plates.
Big plates, big numbers. Big hair,
numbers.
Big hair, big fun.
Yep. Oh.
I remember her.
Yeah.
But
you're exactly right, Mike, because Robbie, and we knew him, back in you're racing for Whole Shot and all that stuff. You were like, you didn't get a lot of air, but you always had good style. Exactly right. Which turned later to, him really, jumping and being awesome. But I remember when you were little, didn't have it, but you did that cross up. You get that 1 second even
over everything.
Yeah, over everything.
Over everything.
Exactly.
That front wheel never came up straight. It always had to be turned a little bit, leaned a little bit, always, man. I loved it.
That's style dog right there, man. I love it.
Different times, huh? Like coming up, the tracks were different, everything compared to the way it is now, So we were just trying to find the jumps wherever we went, you know. So that's kind of where that all came from, and then just wanting to make it look good, you know.
Well,
And
you could see, you could definitely tell with your style though, Rob, like that you were conscious of what you were doing. I mean, not that you weren't doing it on purpose. It was your style, but you were conscious of good style versus shitty style. And you could always tell the way you had your elbows position, your arms, even when you were quartering, you always had that good style all the time, man.
And I was lucky my parents would buy me the uniforms and gear that you guys rocked. So I always had to do the dopest shit. But me and Tony D laugh about that. Our parents always had us kitted up no matter what.
That's
Even
right.
if we got last, at least we look good.
Well, what's hilarious to me, speaking of your parents, is in the Morales family at the BMX track, you were the least famous.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some truth to that. There's some truth to that.
Man, your mom and dad were absolutely famous at the BMX track, you know, and the fact that you always traveled with James and his parents.
Yeah.
You guys went everywhere together was great. You know, that's how I got to know all the whole pack of you. It was great. And you're hilarious, man. Your parents were hilarious.
Oh, they're so funny. And just
Robbie, you might have been number 4. I think the cooler was number 3.
Yeah.
Your dad's blue and white igloo cooler should be in the BMX Hall of Fame.
It should be in Oklahoma. Huh? That'd be amazing.
Oklahoma.
Oh man,
we got to sneak that thing in there, man. I can't tell you. After all the pros loved your dad. I loved him. And he'd be right there. You know, you come in after between motos on a hot day and you'd be breathing hard, and your dad would be right there. Hey, you want a beer? Mr. Morales, I got racing. I got open coming.
Yeah. What do you say?
Okay. All right.
Don't dehydrate.
And James's dad was the same way, but man, your dad, I remember one story that was, I remember Gary Ellis was at an ABA National in one of those indoor U instead of a U, and Gary Ellis finished 5th in the semi. Yeah. And he had his head down, and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, Gary. You know, there's always next weekend." He goes, "Yeah, well, looks like I'm going to see Mr. Morales for the cooler."
Oh man,
your dad was so famous for that. It's hilarious.
I'd get so mad at him because, like you said, they'd be cracking a beer before the 3rd main or something. I'd be like, "Dad, you can't. He's got a race. Leave him alone." But good times.
Well, I remember your dad was a racer.
Yeah.
Your dad was a sailboat racer.
Yep. He's they called him a black stain on the sport of sailboating.
I remember a story about they were going to lighten the boat up.
Yep. Yeah. So they took the stove out, you know, and my dad was like, "Look, son, you know, we're being smart here." And then they pull the stove out and they wheel it out onto the dock and they leave it there. And then they just put cases of beer where the stove was. My mom was so pissed. It was hilarious.
Oh, absolutely hilarious, man. That's
priorities, man.
Yeah,
priorities.
Totally. You had to lighten that thing up.
That's right.
But your mom and dad were such a big part of BMX and friends to us all. And how many pros stayed at your house?
Oh, it was so awesome. I remember even weird dudes like Ronnie Anderson. I would just like show up and he'd be in my living room. I'd be like, "What is this guy doing here?"
I mean, I went there so often that we were not long ago. Our friend Dave Gomez. Oh yeah. We were going out and I said, "Hey man, let's go by Robbie's old house." And he goes, "I'm not sure how to get there." I go, "Oh, I do."
Oh, that's
and I went to exit 39 on the LIE.
There you go.
I knew exactly how to get you.
That's so cool. Yeah.
We went right by the gas station where the guys would always give your mom a hard time, and she she would lace into those guys all the time. It was great.
Yeah, I used to get her coffee and cigarettes when I was like, 10 years old. We just run a tab, little Bobby'd go get coffee and cigs every morning. Different times.
The best of times.
Right? I know. I wish it was still that way.
Oh gosh.
Now, your mom comes into the factory there, and we should say what factory it is. Robbie, tell us about your company, man.
Oh man, so we're doing Cult. I've been doing it for about 11 years now, and my mom pops in on Wednesday. That's her day off, and she just comes in and just roasts all of us for doing mediocre job, basically, in her eyes. It's classic.
Dude, I want to.
She actually has some good ideas sometimes. She's still pretty sharp with it, so I got to give it to her.
I want to be there one of those days, man.
Yeah, she scares the employees pretty good. They're like, hey, your mom was pretty hard on us, man. Is that what it was like? I was like, yeah. She, remember Red Line flight cranks that came with the wrench, the cool wrench with the red handle?
Yeah.
Remember she biffed me in the head with one of those really hard because a girl almost beat me in a race. And she wasn't having that. But yeah, so she's always been a big part of everything I've ever done. And very vocal.
I love it.
Really, you could never hear her at the track.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. And sometimes I sit down just to spite her.
Look over. As soon as you sat down, look over, right?
Yeah. Even in double A Pro, my parents were at the races still telling me to pedal. I was like, Ma, you can't do that. It's embarrassing,
Robbie, on the races, tell everybody about the Orlando. You had mentioned that Orlando race.
So that track was always really long, and the race was in the just coming out of winter. So I hadn't been riding much growing up in New York, and it was because you snowed in or whatever. And needless to say, I just getting smoked. One of those ones where you look behind you, but you're in last. There's no one behind you. Just kind of like, whoa, shit. And, so, they're just at the finish line. They're just looking at me. What happened? And I'm like, what happened? We're fat people. I'm fat. You're fat. Your parents are fat. Everyone's fat. I can't do this anymore. I just lost my shit. But it was funny. And then, that just shows you how into it we were. We would just travel the whole circuit no matter what. And, we had the best of times and the worst of times. But, at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade it for anything,
They did travel with you a lot.
Yeah, totally.
And so did your parents, JV.
Yeah.
And you guys always have to have adjoining rooms.
Yeah.
And I was in the hotel. I was in the hotel lobby more than one time when your mom, JV, would light in. Let me speak to the manager. She would just light into the staff, man. If they didn't have
original angry Karen, I love it.
Yeah.
She was the original Karen.
I love it, man.
Oh yeah, no, it was like a party for those guys. We had the bicycle thing, and but at nighttime when they wanted to go to dinner, and my dad and Miss Morales would have some beers. I mean, this was their also weekend to hang out, which is really cool. And I suppose that was the same for a lot of families that travel together.
Yeah, man. It's really cool though, man. Like thinking back and having that, like that my parents were the same way. They went to a lot of races with me. And I remember when I was 14 and I was going to Reno, and it was my mom and Al Ross and Al Ross's dad. And we were driving up with them. And I remember telling my mom, if I didn't win, I wasn't going to race that weekend. And my mom was destroyed. Mm. I had never won a national, but she was just destroyed because her whole life would have changed. Yeah. And so I didn't realize it made her reaction. She was actually she actually asked me in the hotel room later that she's like, "Are you really going to quit?" Like she was crying.
Wow.
Because it was such a big thing. Her lifestyle was going to change as well. So thankfully I didn't, but man, what a cool memory to have. You guys have it. I've got the same thing, but just all those cool travel times with your parents, man, you never get that time back.
Totally. And I knew we were in trouble when my dad would always refer to us as we raced.
Yes.
What are you on a sidecar? What are you talking about? We raced, or we got sick. We didn't qualify. I said, I got it.
I remember Mr. Hutchins saying to me, he goes, "Where have you been all day?" I said, "Oh, I was with the Moraleses." Yeah. Don't forget the team pits. I had to go hang out with the Moraleses.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's always great to hang out with your folks, man. Yours too, JV. Always great.
Totally.
I was talking to JV earlier about how when we would come to visit you at your house, and we would ride your local trails.
Totally.
And there was one, like it was by a swamp or a river.
Yeah.
It's where I met Pete Delusky, High Performance.
Yep.
At the
Totally.
track. Yep. Right there.
Hey.
And then afterwards, we were done riding, and JV and you were riding home,
Yeah.
and there was a big steep hill.
Oh man, that hill, I hated that thing.
And JV and I would, okay, come on, Robbie, we're gonna sprint up the hill. And you were like, no, I don't want. No, come on, Rob, you got to sprint up the hill. And we sprinted all the way to the top. And I remember you just gave up halfway. You said, no, I don't. And we were screaming at you, come on. And you did. You sprinted to the top. And I remember saying, James and I talking to you afterwards, saying, hey, man, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
This is what you got to do. And to go from that to a guy you got covers in magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when you got that cover on Go magazine, kicking it sideways. It was like, wow, that's the baby Naga.
Really.
The baby.
I was really lucky to have friends growing up that always built trails, like Superfly and Danny Boy, my guys I grew up racing with and riding, and they were always building jumps. So I never built jumps. The joke later on with me was we were at Push Trails in Pittsburgh, and they're really, really well-known trails near the South Park track, and one of the kids said, hey, Robbo, do you build jumps? And Ground Chuck, one of the guys, said, hey, man, you don't see Tony Hawk building any vert ramps. I never really built jumps. I just like jumping them. But I was always blessed to have friends that did build all the time, so.
Man.
I got one of those guys too, Russ LeBaron.
There you go.
Yeah, I tried to change one of his jumps one time, and he hit me with a shovel.
Yeah.
That's what do him.
Yeah.
And you rode a lot at EC's house, didn't you?
Yeah, that was the best times. When I first came out to Cali, it was like early 90s, maybe even like 1990. I moved in with Todd Corbett and Greg Hill out in Moreno Valley. And it's funny, when I got there, I didn't really know the lay of the land. I thought I was moving to the beach. I'm out in the desert. I was like, where the hell's Sheep Hills? Like, they're like an hour inland, bud. What are you doing? But I was really happy. I basically graduated high school and told everyone, hey, I'm going to Cali. No one believed me. And I went to the NBL Grands and then jumped in the GT rig, got a ride out to Cali, moved in with Todd. They were nice enough to take me in and kind of take me under the wing. And that's where it all kind of started being serious about it. And, they were on it. They were training every day. I just wanted to ride. So I would just kind of go to Eric's house, bug him to ride that or the Norco trails or like 6th Street or Albies, and just try to hit as many trails as we could all the time. And I liked just riding. I didn't train much, but
those were good though, man. Those were good days. We would do those. We would do all, like some days on, especially on weekends, we would hit almost all those spots, Twin as well.
Totally.
It
definitely made us well-rounded. You rode so much, you just felt like one with your bike. So when you did go to the race, at least you could get through the rhythm section good. That's right.
That's right.
Were you on Auburn? Was that Auburn days? Or?
Yeah, Auburn days.
Okay.
So I was, only child, pretty late bloomer too. So when I got out to Cali, I had to learn everything pretty quick. And, Todd and they were, TC was awesome. I'd do dumb shit like leave my laundry in the dryer. I'd come home from riding, it'd be on the front lawn. They just throw all my laundry on the front lawn. Or like, in the drawer where you put all the utensils, I'd just throw them in there. I wouldn't put them into each individual. Then they just dump the whole drawer. They just dump in my bed. So it was tough love, but I needed it. I was kind of like a late bloomer, so really cool to have those guys kind of get me into shape.
That was good, man.
Learned a lot, and then going to Eric's was cool because I think you had such a vision of riding. Like I always loved how you like would cut the one berm inside the berm, or transfers know what he could do, or we would always just try to experiment with stuff. So those were some of my favorite days, just being able to ride with you guys.
Well, I mean, those were fun days in the backyard, man. And you were probably one of the most regular guys that rode there. Probably you or Vanderveen. Vander was also one of the guys, but I mean, probably more sessions with you guys than just about anybody that I can remember. But it was fun, like I remember we would, on some of the rhythm sections that we would have built, we would try to jump and half crank in the air so that we would land and take off with the opposite foot and then do it again and do it again. And so we were we were actually learning how to jump with either foot forward.
Totally.
And so, I mean, there was a lot of times that when I was racing, as I turned pro, you know, because when we moved to my parents' house in Norco, I was still an amateur, but where I could get an extra half crank.
Yeah.
Where a lot of other guys would have to check up so that they could get their comfortable foot forward.
Yeah.
And I could get that half crank because I knew like I can hit this jump with either foot forward. It didn't matter. And that was from sessions with yourself or Vander pushing me. You guys pushed me as much as I pushed you guys, man. I mean, Vander was I remember he was 14, dude. He was incredible. How talented he was and the things that he helped us do and how much better we got landing and manuals. I mean, I know you and I both were really, really advanced at that. And people weren't really doing that type of stuff at the time when we started doing that. So good sessions, man. Fun times. Lot of cool places to ride. And then, but I think it was good because we didn't get too serious about it because there was always the Metro in the evening.
Yeah. You had to be ready for that.
The Metro.
That's right.
A lot of things happen there that need to stay there, boys.
Yeah, totally.
A lot of married men now that can't talk about that.
We were just boys drinking, man. That's all.
Yeah. Wow.
You guys in your Mickey Big Mouth and
Wow.
oh man. You're I'm sure that doing all that riding on those different trails and pushing yourselves like that had an effect on not only you as a rider, but probably you as a designer of bikes too.
Yeah, totally. I think we were experimenting with just kind of everything, and things were changing pretty fast. The bikes were getting better. You know, a lot of the, particularly like mid '90s. You know, when some of the rider-owned companies, you know, and into the late '90s when they started coming up, they had a little more freedom to kind of design stuff that was catered more to the rider that wanted to, you know, ride trails, race, kind of just all around stuff, ride street, ride ramp, all of that it kind of melded all together when we started experimenting with all of it. And then obviously the result of that was making better product.
You mean better? You mean like you couldn't take the back end off of your frame?
Exactly. Yeah. That's a classic story with my dad. So when I rode for Auburn as a 2-piece bike, and my dad was just convinced that, you know, there had to be a reason it was 2 pieces. Like, we have to take it apart. So, you know, we take it apart and it, you know, just makes a crazy tuning fork noise, like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, like, I'm like, oh shit. And then we can't get it back together. So, you know, Auburn was with GT at the time. So I had to call in, just embarrassed as could be. And Magoo was the TM of all people. And he was, you know, he's quick-witted. So I was like, hey, I need a new bike. My dad took it apart. We can't get it back together. And Magoo said, okay, we'll send you one out, but tell your dad to leave your shit alone. Like, oh, man. So, yeah, needless to say, I never took it apart again.
Oh, JV, I never remember your dad working on your bike ever.
No, he didn't know how to do that. No, he didn't know anything about that stuff. He
would get a speeding ticket inside the track area. I remember that. That was awesome. So good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he wasn't
amazing.
good at the bike stuff. He was good at hanging out with Mr. Morales.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Dude, he was the ultimate wingman.
Yeah.
Totally.
He totally was, EC. Exactly right.
I love it.
You would just hang with, and they were both together, you know, just walking around.
Yeah.
Hey, you know my son James? And my dad used to say,
Yeah.
To the girls.
James. Yeah.
Dude, James's dad had a McDonald's out on Long Island, and when you walked in there, every girl was blonde.
Oh, that's
every
amazing.
employee was a blonde girl.
He had his standards.
He's so ahead of his time. That's so awesome.
He'd come in with an application, you'd look at him and go, "You're hired." Blonde hair, you're hired.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh man, I love it.
Well, you know what? I tell you what, it's a shame your mom can't be on this podcast.
Dude, she would have some classic stories. She was roasting me the other day with some of them. I was getting so mad.
She'll have to have her own episode.
Yes.
Exactly.
So,
You two together would be its own podcast. That's for sure.
we'd be fighting for sure. Yeah.
Good grief.
Were they cool with you going to California, Robbie?
Yeah, I think it was, two-sided. They obviously wanted me to stick around, but at the same time, they knew it would be good for what I wanted to do. And, it was hard in New York in those days. It was like, there was a lot of riding going on, but, the winter would hit and it would just kill you for 6 months. So, I mean, that was the bummer of it. And they knew I really struggled during the winter. So it was kind of nice to get out. And then it was pretty funny when she did come visit me, where TC lived, it was like, on a community that had like a man-made lake, and it was like really nice, and my mom, I was like, telling my mom it wasn't in the exact spot I wanted, I wanted to be closer to the beach and stuff. And she just was so mad at me that I had an issue with it because it was so nice compared to Long Island. And I was just like, all right, whatever.
You didn't tell her about that lamp in TC's living room, did you?
No.
EC, do you remember the lamp with the big metal shade on it?
No.
It was on the end. Oh man, it had, at TC's house. After the Metro, you'd go back to his house, and he had this lamp on the end table that had a metal, looked like a cymbal off a drum set. And the big thing was, you'd walk by, you'd take your thing out, and you'd go ding. And I asked TC not long ago, I go, hey man, you still got that lamp? And he was like, oh my God, don't talk about the lamp. Don't talk about the lamp. I'm married now. Don't talk about the lamp. Yeah. And I said, that thing, when I remember it had dents all over it, man. I said, somebody bought that at a garage sale. I was like, wow, what a cool, what's that smell?
What a cool lamp.
What a cool lamp. It's all, hammered and got patina on it. It's fucking cool.
Wow.
Rob just said, wow.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back to some of those nights, man. It was, I learned real quick, man.
Woo.
You had to run with the big dogs early.
Dude, it was like literally like the first night they took me out to the Metro, and I was just mind blown, man. That just the stuff I saw that night changed my life forever.
Well, so to let everyone know, like 20 minutes from TC's house was this giant nightclub.
Oh yeah.
And it was a supermarket at one point.
Yeah, former supermarket.
Yep. And they just went inside and painted the walls black and built a little tiny stage, and it was all dance floor and a bar. And it was it had to be big because there were a lot of big women in there.
Dude, do you remember when they would have those wet t-shirt contest things and there was that big heavy dude that went in there?
Oh my God.
The big heavy guy he worked at my local 76 station.
No way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was it.
Oh,
man. The Metro and EC and all you guys, Russ LeBaron, you guys just owned that place. I only went there once, maybe.
I love Hollywood's getting off easy, man. You're the pioneer of it all, brother.
So, I mean, I think we were there like 2 or 3 nights a week sometimes.
Yeah, Bravo. I know. It was bad. It was bad.
Frequent flyers, man.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Out of control. Well, it made you better. It made you concentrate. I don't know. That's all I can come up with. It's the only kind of training I could think of for it.
Oh my God.
Dude.
Well, Robbie, again, man, we are just we're so proud. It's not to sound like we're old man or your dad or anything, but we are just so proud of you, man. Because we've known you since you were that little kid, and to what you've become.
Definitely blessed to have you guys treat me as well as you did. All you guys like took care of me, and because not, like I said, New York was awesome to grow up in, but BMX wasn't. A lot of people didn't believe it or take it serious, so. To be able to hang with you guys early on, that's where I learned all my chops, and that's why I'm at where I am today. So
yeah, man, but it's super impressive. Like I didn't, I'd never been to your facility until we did the take one, and wow, man, I mean, I was thoroughly impressed, dude. Like, you come, like Mike said, you've come a long ways from being the guy that moved from California that really didn't know how to do his own laundry.
Yeah.
To running a business the way you are, man. It's pretty impressive, dude. Like it really is to have an operation the size that you have, man. It's a a big bridge, dude, from where you were to where you are now. That's a big bridge, man. And you built that bridge and you crossed it. And man, I'm impressed, dude. Proud of you and impressed.
No, thank you. And it's such an interesting industry we're a part of. Like people wouldn't believe the situations we're in a lot of times, compared to a lot of the other industries that are a little bit older or for whatever reason, just a little more dialed. The playing field we're working within is still kind of getting its footing. You know what I mean? After all these years. So it's like so interesting that for me, I always like the front end, the marketing, the fun stuff, the videos, the traveling, the designing, that stuff. But now, I've learned that, you have to have the back end just as dialed, because if you don't have both the front and the back, like it'll just go away. It doesn't matter how cool you are, so those have been the hard lessons I've been having to learn lately. But, the nice thing about it is, I kind of had it throughout all my years. I've kind of, retained all that information. So kind of when I can problem solve pretty quickly now because of all of that. And I think that's why we kind of keep a little bit ahead,
Totally, man. Well, that you've always been good about improvising and making things happen, whether it was on the track. I mean, you were always good. You didn't always have the best starts, man, but you always seem to find a way through the pack, dude, to get yourself in there, man. And I imagine it's probably the same way in your business sense, man. It's like, things get thrown in front of you, maybe not the best start, but you always find a way to weave through and make it happen. Exactly.
And just try to get by and keep the overhead low, keep taking care of your people. I'm blessed to have some employees that are lifers and they're super down. They believe in the vision and what we're doing. And then the team guys are they've been with me forever. So, I think that kind of proves that, we're all a part of something special,
Yeah. But you know what, Robbie, that also speaks to you personally, right? Because when you have employees that are lifers and you have team riders that stay with you through thick and thin, it speaks volumes about how you are as a company owner and how you treat those people. And so when you treat those people with respect and you take care of them, then that's what you get, man.
No, thank you. And it's funny when people ask like, well, how do you do it? Or, that's kind of a hard for me to explain, right? You're like, no, I try to put myself in their shoes and try to live, through what they're going through as well, try to see it from both sides instead of just being, the angry boss that's stressed out because, the air conditioning bill was too much or something, like I try to like block that stuff out and be like, try to choose my battles, more wisely than that,
Yeah, it's smart, man. It's really smart. Yeah. And it's a testament to your success.
Cheers, man.
I think there's a lot of stuff, Robbie. And I think, and I hear Mike, he talks about it a lot, like giving back to the sport. And I really think, we all know you're a great kid, like you were an awesome little kid. Now you're an awesome big kid, but the fact that you have a general love for the industry and getting kids on bikes, which is a big thing. Mike always says, I hear him 1,000 times, like always saying kids on bikes and there's not many that do it because they love it and they believe in it. People do it. There's a financial component to it. I'm sure, but you do it because you have fun and you love it. And it was part of your, growing up and stuff. And I think that's why we love you so much, because we gravitate towards, that type of enthusiasm and personality for sure.
It's interesting. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, sometimes in the middle of the night, I wake up and all I hear is, "Pedal Robbie, pedal Robbie."
Oh man,
that's where it all started.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, her ears are going to be burning now, I bet. But yeah, I think the interesting part about being in the industry, a part of it too, is I even like when other brands do well, when they put out a good video or their team rider excels. Like it's so small that there's room for most of us. So why I'd rather celebrate people's wins than just try to block other brands. I kind of want other brands to be better. That way we have a more solid industry. You know what I mean? It's kind of tough when you look at mountain bikes and how dialed that is, or motocross or skate or whatever it is. You just want to be on that level. You know what I mean? And I can't stand when there's people that kind of, like you said, for monetary reasons, they kind of just milk it a bit and they don't really do a good as job as they could. That's the only thing that like frustrates me lately is like, you know, if you're in it still, you know, just have the passion for it. You know what I mean? And try to make a better overall BMX. And yeah, to Mike's point, man, get kids on bikes. You know, I just went to an event in Richmond, Virginia, and it was Steve Crandall's event, the Rumble in Richmond. And it was amazing. You know, he started a nonprofit where he gets kids on bikes, and, you know, we donated some bikes to him already and it's going well. And seeing the kids, like in 1 year, there were 2 or 3 kids that got into it and were already like jumping the pro section at the track, like in a year's time, you know? So you guys remember when you first get the spark and the bug for it, it's just, you know, full speed ahead, and watching that happen is like so exciting. And I just want more people to kind of focus on those moments and not be so, you know, kind of hemmed up by, you know, kind of the COVID thing kind of jacked everything up, turned everything upside down. And now we're trying to rebuild it. You know what I mean? So if we do it from a standpoint of like inclusion and try and bring more people to it, I think that's going to help a lot.
Yeah, man. Well, you speak about the passion too. I remember I was at Taiwan Bike Show. It was probably like, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, maybe more. And I remember when I was walking the show with Joe and Clay, and they were talking about buying Snafu, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" You know? And they were going to buy Snafu from Magoo. And I walked the show. I found Magoo. I'm like, "Dude, what do you do? Why? What are you're selling? Why were you selling the company for?" He goes, "I'm old, man." Yeah. He said, "I'm old and I'm out of touch and I don't have fun anymore." He goes, "I don't have any business selling kids BMX bike and BMX stuff anymore." Yeah. He goes, "I'm just out of touch, man." He goes, "It doesn't make sense anymore." And I really, that really resonated with me, because he could have, I mean, he had all the distribution channels, and he had everything was lined up, right? With Sherry and he could bring product in for days, and he could have just kept milking that cow over and over.
100%.
He just sold it because he was like, it's not who I am anymore. I'm not passionate about it anymore. Yeah. And so it's best for me to just walk.
Yeah.
So, especially BMX, even more than mountain bike. Mountain bike, you can the companies are bigger, and there's the demographic is spread farther.
Yeah.
So you can, I don't want to say hide, because you're not hiding, but you can be less passionate, and it can be more business. But in your world, you cannot fake it, dude.
Yeah.
You have to be passion driven, and you have to have your finger on the pulse for your company to be successful, because the kids, it's changing, dude. Their language changes. What's cool changes continually. And I think you do a really good job about being, even as old as you are now, still being involved and still being relative or with the riders on your team. And I watch your videos, and I can hear you in the background.
Definitely. Yeah.
I don't know, because I hear your voice, and when I watch the videos on your social media, I listen for your voice, man. I'm like, dude, he's still out there. He's still in the field.
Yeah.
Living it.
I never thought at 50 I would still be driving the van to spots and fences.
But why do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of still feeds my soul.
Because you love it. That's why.
I love it. And I wouldn't do it. If it was bullshit, I wouldn't do it. It's too hard now. You know, I mean, getting over a 12-foot high fence with my, you know, Tony's getting caught on the fucking thing, and you know, and then everyone's laughing at me. I'm stuck. I'm on the top, you know, but I still love it. So and you know, traveling's harder the older you get, but I still love traveling, and you know, and even going back to that Virginia event, it was just like, it was so good for the soul. The scene was full of like DIY skate parks and pump tracks and trails and a racetrack and like everything we grew up loving to ride, and it was all there, and you could just see the excitement in the riders, you know, and that still resonates so heavy with me, and
that's cool, man.
To the point where you get up and you know you want to get after it, you know, still you want to get to the skate park, you want to get to the trails, and you know, a lot of it, you know, I mean, I'm just happy that the wind's in my face. I'm not doing anything groundbreaking anymore. I'm just having fun, and I think that's the thing, kind of. like you were saying, Eric, you want to be relatable to the riders, but you don't want to put yourself in front of them or anything. You know, I'm kind of just there to be supportive of it all and still enjoy it. You know?
Yeah, it's perfect, man.
Are those guys as crazy as like when you travel with them? Would you say that they're as crazy, more calm maybe than back in the day when you traveled? You know,
I think we were way more reckless when we were younger.
Okay.
But I think the stakes are higher for them now because things riding wise have progressed so far that if it does go south, it's like pretty catastrophic, you know? Like, I don't know what it was. Like, we used to take slams all the time, maybe even get a few concussions each summer, but it never really affected us that negatively, you know? Now, you know, if, I don't know, a guy like Corey Walsh goes down, you know, after doing some crazy 40-foot gap, it's pretty heavy, you know, and having to go to the ER with these guys and like when, you know, shit goes south, it's pretty, you know, it's really gnarly what they're up to. You know what I mean?
Not like the good old days at Woodward when you'd fall and get all cut up and you'd want to go to the nurse and we'd say, no. Don't go to the nurse. She'll put Ben Gay on you. Don't go to the nurse.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It was so different. And then, you know, now, you know, we're like picking up, you know, one of the guy's teeth off the flat bottom and we're just like, oh man, but they're all, it comes with the territory, you know, and they're calm about it. And they just, you know, get me to the ER and get me stitched up and we'll be back at it tomorrow. So it's just a whole nother deal now. It's kind of shocking.
Polar opposite of, no, just go see Mr. Morales. He'll set you up.
That's right.
You'll be all right.
Cooler will set you straight.
I mean, Robbie, you have such a unique perspective because, you know, you've been there, done that, you know, from like I said, from a young rider with all these random sponsors.
Yeah.
You would have the most random sponsors.
It's pretty funny because like, and it wasn't like I was like, you know, super eager to change that much. It's just like, if one got a little awkward and didn't feel right, I was kind of up to hear what the next guy had to say and be a part of what they were doing. And it was pretty funny because even weird ones where like, Magoo got me this mountain bike deal called Univega. And it was like kind of a joke. Like, it was like, hey, it's like, listen, this company wants to give you like 30 grand for the year. Just take it and then just do whatever you want after the year. It's a one and done, you know? And like, and I was on Standard at the time, which was like a really cool brand. And there was cred with it, but you know, there was no money there because it was small rider own brand. And then I told my mom, hey, you know, I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to stick with Standard, you know? And she saw the contract and she was like, listen, if you don't take this contract, I'm kicking you out of the house. Needless to say, I had that purple Univega uniform on the next race. So.
And didn't you rode for an English grip company?
Yeah. Like in the beginning, it was Hot Shot. And it was just like,
Hot Shot.
Yeah. And my dad had met the owner at the bar, obviously. And, you know, somehow got me sponsored when I was novice. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's amazing, you know? So, yeah, I like you said, I've been kind of journeyman through a bunch of different brands, but a lot of good times, you know? And then there were hard ones, you know? When I rode for DK, I went to the X Games when I should have been doing clinics and going to races, but I got an invite, you know, last minute. And I fell, broke my collarbone and kind of messed up the race season for the team. And, you know, I was sitting in my tighty whities at home, you know, with the sling on and just got a call and, you know, got fired. And, you know, I think it's really funny because like that moment in time, you know, for me to crash on TV and get knocked out and break my collarbone and, you know, kind of have all these kind of tragic things happen, but I really didn't care. I just wanted to ride. So I just figured, all right, well, my collarbone's broke. I'll be back in 4 weeks. I'll be riding. It's no big deal. And it's funny, I had a friend recently ask me, hey, do you remember that time when you crashed on ESPN and they kept showing it on the blooper reel over and over? And that was really rough, man. You know, how did you make it through that? And I was like, what do you mean? I didn't even give a shit. And I was like, oh, no, but it was kind of heavy. Like, I think if I didn't love it so much at that moment, that could have been a pretty, you know, kind of a crossroads, you know what I mean? That was a tough time, but I didn't really feel the heaviness of it because I still just wanted to ride. So I didn't let it penetrate, you know, my psyche too much, you know.
You think that crash made you more famous?
Yeah. That one and the one where I fell in the water trying to jump the riverbed, you know, that one. Oh my God. Yeah, that thing. I don't know what I was thinking. You know, when you're driving, you see it, pull over, I'm going to jump that, you know. You look at it, it's yeah. It was so much bigger.
That thing is, dude, when I used to live down there, I would drive by that thing, and every time I drove by, I'd look down there and look at that thing, and I'd shake my head every time I drove by. I was like, what was he thinking?
Yeah, I wasn't. I just was like, hey man, I'm gonna jump that, pull over. And then by the time we got it lined up, it was too late to, you know, Joe Rich during the T1 days, he taught me, you know, don't invoice it if you're not going to do it. So if you say you're going to do it, you got to do it. That's the rule. And I learned the hard way on that one. But you know, that bike folded up like a beach chair. So it did. I didn't get that. The bike got more hurt than me, I think. So I got lucky.
I think it's maybe like the fourth picture of that where you're just falling backwards.
Yeah, totally.
That should be a gigantic poster in your office, man.
Into about 6 inches of water. Yeah, so my eyes were literally crossed like a cartoon, and I watched them go straight, like boiling, you know, like, oh, it's so crazy. You know? Yeah, those 2 ones were pretty. Yeah, probably would have put a lesser dude out, but it made me want to, you know, go even harder.
Oh man, that was a gnarly thing, man. I remember when I saw that thing, when the first time I saw it, I just was like, wow, what in the heck?
Yeah, totally.
Because you were racer Robbie to me, man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think I had a looking bike. Yeah, like the bike was just folded around everything, man. It was so bad.
Perfect.
Racer Robbie, jumper Robbie.
Yeah.
Business mogul Robbie.
Yeah.
Right? Oh man.
Trail boss.
Trail boss Robbie. Baby
trail boss thing's funny. That one was cool because it was a friend of mine named Mark Spiegel. It was a sticker that he found and he gave it to me, and you know, was just kind of like, hey, you're the trail boss or whatever. And then it kind of took off from there. We named the bike after it and stuff. And you know, but it was kind of natural because it wasn't me claiming to be that. It was cool that my homie, you know, kind of hooked that up, you know, and I think a lot of people are, you know, oh man, was he big headed? Did he, you know, give himself that name? You know, it wasn't that at all. You know, I wasn't, you know, I knew my limitations as a rider, you know, clearly, but that still, that probably made things even, you know, made me want to even ride more, you know what I mean? And just try to get to every set of trails I could and learn them as quick as I could. You know, that was kind of my thing, and getting through each section quickly, you know what I mean? And doing it, you know,
your way, doing it your way.
Exactly. Indeed. You know, yeah, I didn't like when, like, you know, we only wanted to do a few tricks, right? And we just wanted to do them everywhere as much as we could. You know, I never really got into the progression side of things where you would like add a trick on top of a trick, or like, you know, just trying to push it that way. And it was funny because we would butt heads with a lot of the guys at the time, you know, like, you know, when a guy, I don't know, say like Nyquist came around, you know, we were, you know, we'd kind of roast him a little bit for, you know, too many bar spins or whatever. And then, or like, I remember one time at Posh, Chris Doyle, he asked if he could 360 a jump. Like he asked the trail builder, like, hey, do you mind if I 360 this jump? And we were like, yeah, none of us can do it. Yeah, it'd be cool to see, you know? So yeah, it was a lot of interesting times, you know?
Yeah. But I think your riding, the way you rode and what you valued most was not the gymnastic side of it as much as the style side of it.
Totally.
So I mean, what you're describing just speaks to you and the way you rode, right? Like that's how you rode. You didn't try to be anything that you weren't. You just rode your bike the way you like to ride it. And I think it's awesome. Like you didn't get caught up in that, man. I mean, the progression side was, I mean, it's gnarly, and to see what guys are able to do on bikes now it's insane to see that. But man, there's something to be said for some really clean style as well. When you see guys just boosting big airs and flowing through trail sections, yeah, I'm so far removed from that now, but I still have a ton of respect for it. And I love when it comes across my social media feed and I see these guys just floating, you know, and they're just floating. And I like it better than seeing a bunch of spins and bar spins and multiple tricks and combo tricks and all that kind of stuff. I like the style better.
Yeah.
People jumping, are they racers too? You know how when we were younger, we were racers, and there were some that were jumpers.
With the best style started out racing. You know, I think the foundation of racing really helps you with, you know, obviously pedaling and just kind of looking right on the bike. And then when they transferred it over to the bigger trails, like on the East Coast, you know, Posh and Caddy and Texas East Side and stuff, those guys they've just taken it to such a gnarly level that it's like kind of shocking to me, you know, to watch now, you know, and they're right in the pocket though. They know exactly what they're doing. You know, every year the jumps get, you know, 2 feet higher, 2 feet longer. You know what I mean? Year after year, they've been doing it for, you know, 15, 20 years now. So it's just really dialed these trail spots that are still there. And I think it's super admirable that they stuck with it. And a lot of the dudes are older. They're older dudes, you know,
but they're just jumpers.
Yeah.
They're not racers also.
No, they're just strictly trail guys. And the passion they have for it is like super, you know, the fact that they have to kind of rebuild the trails each year and then ride them into shape. And then, you know, midsummer, it's just, you know, I'm kind of watching it going, holy shit, like they're on another level.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I just think that if you're a rider with good style, you're just a rider with good style.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think coming from a racing background, I don't know if that helps or not. I just know that because there are racers that don't have good style.
Yeah. That's kind of my point. That's kind of what I was asking. Like, it seems like a long time ago it was meshed together, and now it's very segmented. You're either an awesome racer. I could be wrong, but you're either like
totally right. It's super niche now, but every now and then you get that outlier guy that can do both, like Vic Bem. You know, he's rad. He's kind of like the second Brian Foster. You know, like this dude can race really good, and he can jump really good, and he can ride street really good. And it's rare, but I think that's the hard part the sport's going through right now, is that it is so nichey. You know, like the ramp riders, you know, that are in the Olympics, like that stuff doesn't even, I don't even know what that stuff is. It's so well, and then racing looks nothing like what we did when we were growing up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I went to Chula Vista one time, and I walked up to the fence, and I saw like a 15-year-old girl jump like a 40-foot set of doubles. I was just like, how did it change? You know, I know I'm old, but holy shit, you know? Yeah, it's a whole nother world, you know.
Was her name Sherry Elliott?
Yeah, I wish it was.
She could jump them back in the day.
Yeah, dude, such a good tabletop. Yeah, she was rad.
It's crazy though, like you say, Rob, how segmented it is, man.
Yeah.
And I think it's I don't think that's the best thing that could have happened for the sport, is the segmenting. Because, like you said, because it is so niche and so specialized, right? There's so many little micro worlds, if you will. And I don't ever see it coming back to what it was, because, you know, now the equipment is so specialized, right? Like the way the bikes are designed.
Totally.
You know, ramp bikes are different than dirt jump bikes and race bikes and you know, so they're completely, it's crazy how the geometry has changed. And it's, you know, and I understand why, because they want to have the best equipment that they can for the skill that they're doing.
Yeah.
But
but back in our day, you know, a lot of guys were riding stock bikes and had to do good on no matter what it was.
I was hoping it would get back to that. Yeah, give a rider a complete, like, hey, take this, leave me alone.
Hey, Stu Thompson, I know you're 6'10", but here's a bike that has
a 19-inch top tube for you.
Go get him, champ.
Totally.
And that's crazy, man. I was gonna say, man, those dirt jumpers. Back to what you were talking about, Robbie, about those trail zones, dude. Those things are so. I follow Lonergan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you know, he's posting about his, you know, when they shut the trails down, it's like, okay, last session they shut it down, and they carpet it, they cover it, and they, like, dude, it's like it's a full-time deal.
Love. Yeah. Like literally like, and then like you said, spring comes, they untarp them, get the carpet off, rebuild everything, reclay everything.
Yeah.
Then it takes, you know, a week of them kind of guinea pigging it, just, you know, getting through the sections, and then the sessions start. And, you know, I mean, it's unbelievable that they've been able to keep it going. It blows my mind. Even on Long Island, Superfly, you know, I think this is like, you know, it's like 20th year of his trails. So think about it. He's done that kind of system every year for 20 years, you know, and like kept the scene going. You know, he'll have, you know, 4th of July jams, barbecues, you know, girls come down now, girls ride the trails, you know. And
yeah,
the good thing for me is a lot of them build like little pump tracks and like smaller stuff. So it is pretty inclusive. You can still go, you know, you don't have to jump the 45-foot left hip, you know, you can
right.
go, jib around on some smaller stuff and feel like you're a part of the sesh still, you know.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Okay, boys, that sounds like we can join in now.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, like, we're so lucky to be able to do that because, you know, I wouldn't even know what to do on some of the bigger stuff now.
Dude, it's
so
gnarly, right?
I think you would, Robbie.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think you would. You know how.
Yeah.
All those laps around Woodward Camp Track.
Yeah.
You know how.
Yeah, I feel
Backwards.
Go backwards right up the hill.
Yeah.
You know how to do it. I mean,
You know, that Long Island crew, Robbie, is pretty tight. That Shoreham crew, the whole.
Yeah. And then growing up, you know, like early on, so when it first started, it was like Rob Michelini, you know, he had the house that was like open that we could all crash at because the trails were out farther on Long Island. So I lived closer into the city, so we'd have to drive out there. But if we went out for the weekend, we could always crash at Rob's house. He was super hospitable. Parents were super cool. And then we would ride, you know, 7-Eleven or, you know, just there's 4 or 5 sets of trails on Long Island that were really good. And they produced some of the best riders, you know, Timmy Strzelecki, Ronnie Gaskett, Keith Mulligan, Brian Irochi. I mean, these guys were champions and, you know, kind of went on to a lot of them still ride to this day, you know. So I was really lucky to kind of come up in that scene. And then it was funny. I just saw a little snippet we did about the trails in the like in the early 90s. And I already was like kind of handing it off to those guys. Like when I was talking about the trails, I was like, hey, my friends that were, you know, a few years younger than me were really pushing the envelope of what could be done. And I wasn't tapping out at the time, but I also wanted to bring them up as well and have them shine as well. So I thought just seeing that the other day reminded me like, oh man, I kind of was always pushing for like that next generation to stick with it, you know, and not kind of turning my back on them, like kind of like bringing them with me, you know what I mean? Because, you know, BMX, it was cutthroat back then, you know, it was different times. So you could go either way, you know, you could shut these guys down and try to take all the stuff for yourself, or you could try to bring them up with you, you know, and you know, it didn't work all the time, but it definitely, you know, there was definitely moments where all of us kind of did well together and it felt really good, you know.
Hey,
a lot of respect for that. Sorry about that, Mike. Go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, speaking of doing well, Robbie, can you tell me, there was a story you told me once. You beat Gary Ellis.
Yeah, this is so awesome. So it was like 105 South Park. You know, it's like a 6-man semi in AA. You know, you only got to beat 2 dudes. So, you know, obviously I'm in 6th in the first turn. But the second straight had a pretty good rhythm section.
Wait, I can hear, if you close your eyes, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Hello, Robbie.
So I passed Danny Nelson and Gary Ellis in the rhythm section. So 6-man semi, you know, they qualify 4. I make the main. I'm so stoked. And Gary was always really, really good to me, but really hard on me. And at the finish line, he said, well, even the sun shines on a dog's ass some days. And then my first AA race, I was at the Christmas Classic. I had a new uniform. I was all kitted out. I thought I was flying high. And I was like, you know, looking at this turn, you know, acting like I was like checking out the lines or whatever. And he rides by, he elbows me, and I fall and get super dirty. And he was just, you know, welcome to AA and just roasting me, you know. And, he was so cool, you know. And what an amazing racer he was, right? You know, 3rd main every time. just win the third main and win overall every single time. It was amazing, man.
And doesn't get enough credit. He's super funny. People don't realize
Totally.
Gary Ellis is funny.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He would often do that too from lane 8, man.
Yeah.
It didn't matter when he was motivated, it didn't matter what lane he was in. He was going to be in the first turn in the lead, man. He was just
another
crazy.
time I was in lane 2 and he was in lane 1 for the main in Indiana. And all my friends were lined up on the fence from Long Island. And they were just heckling because he was a little late to the gate. And so he rolls in the gate. He looks at me and goes, "Hey, are those your buddies on the first straight? Because they're just roasting him, man, and I'm like, I got no business, stepping to this guy. So I'm telling my guys like to shut up, but they're just having a blast, He's like, "Hey, so those are your buddies, huh?" And I'm telling you, he was in my lane before the gate even dropped. And I high-sided over his rear wheel and ate shit. And I just looked at my friends like, "See what you guys did?"
I can hear that group now. Yo, Ellis, where were you fixing your hair?
Totally just roasted him. And I paid the price for that one. But, we still had fun,
I love it. That is fantastic.
That to me was the best part of racing. The stories like that. That's the best part of racing.
We talk about photo shoots too. Like I went on a photo shoot where you got the Go cover. You were on Free Agent at the time. And I remember you had to shoot the photo a shitload of times because it was on real film. So you couldn't tell back then if it wasn't digital. So you didn't know if you got it at the right moment, if the photographer got the photo correct.
Right.
And I just was mind blown. I was like, how many times is he going to have to do this fucking tabletop? I was just so mind blown. And it was like, and then you got it and you got the cover and it was badass. So,
that was a good tabletop too.
Yeah. Dude, it's pretty rad. All the kits you've had over the years, Mike, were always so cool. All the JT ones, you always look good. I always envied that.
Well, how about that big gnarly motorcycle brake lever of mine?
Yes, dude, I had to have that, man. Why did you sell me that thing when I couldn't even reach it?
I got it. I tried it because Stu Thompson tried it. I saw it on Seabike. I said, I'm going to try that. It was terrible.
That's awesome. Sometimes I'd ride and it went past my grip, so it would hit stuff and then turn the brakes off.
Terrible. But I wasn't the last person with it.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, it's probably somewhere in my garage.
Mike will sell you anything.
Yes, I love it.
That's right.
Anything.
Yeah.
First guy I saw in spandex shorts too. I didn't know what those were.
One for 10, 2 for 25, right, Hollywood?
Exactly right. 1 for 10, 2 for 25. Get them while they're hot.
Hey, JV.
Yo.
Tell us the Reach story. What was up with that brand?
No, I hooked up with them with actually, we had talked about it last week with Bomber, and Tim Littlethorpe actually came to camp to teach. And I hooked up with him and he and Woody Woodruff stayed at our house in Jersey. And then after that, we just, we just kept talking to each other. He didn't have anybody on the East Coast, at the time. So he, he set me up with the bike and the uniform and met up with them at the Grands. But it was, it was only like 4 of us at the time. Yeah. It was a very small team. Yeah. And that's how I hooked up with them. Yeah. That was like, the first, like, here's a bike, here's a uniform, and, meet up with us. Yeah. There wasn't much to it, but I mean, it was something.
Still pretty cool. I mean, factory team.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like,
gear looked really good. You always look good, man. That gear was cool.
Yeah. That kit was a good kit, man.
All right.
They had, and I'll tell you, because I loved the 09 leathers at the time.
They're the best.
I had talked to Owen because we had dyno pants, and I had already like ripped the shit out of my felt, and then fucking I was putting patches on to keep them fucking together. You know?
Yeah, dude.
And And like the Diamondback ones, you know how they had the patches like down the shins?
Yeah.
I would have to keep putting patches because the pants kept ripping. And I sent the note to Owen, and I was like, hey, anyway, you could set me up with a pair of leathers, and here are the color schemes. And brother, the pants were awesome. Like yeah. And I remember putting them on, and it was a whole different world. Those 09, cool. Those 09 pants at the time was
man. I was so envious. Because like there wasn't really any West Coast 09, big 09 guys. It was Midwest, East Coast thing. And so we were always Arrow and all that bullshit, man. I mean, it sucked. JT was good. I like JT.
I was ready to jump on that,
JT,
man.
Yeah,
JT. Mike always looked good in JT.
Yeah, JT was good. I like JT, and it was good when I got on JT. But before that, I was on free agent VDC, and I had those Arrow, and it was just, oh, dude, those things, one crash and it would just blow those things apart, man.
Totally.
They're so cheaply made.
I got one for you, Eric. What race was it where you changed frames from Saturday to Sunday and then one Sunday?
I think I did that. I think I did that at Lemoore.
I
think it was Lemoore.
Okay.
I'm not positive, but I think I was on Schwinn.
Right.
And I think I borrowed a bike from Richie. I think that was when I had a small Schwinn, and then I put a Skyway together. I think an old Skyway when I was on Schwinn, because Schwinn didn't really have bikes for me.
Your bike busted? Your bike broke?
No, I just didn't like the one I was riding.
I ratted that, and then smoked them the next day. I was so confused. I was like, "You changed the frame overnight? Like, what the heck?" Oh, yeah, so cool.
BC Dave, he tried. He worked with me, and like he would weld some stuff up, man. But when he was trying to take Schwinn frames and welding them up, you can't add material, right? You can only take stuff. So, inevitably we'd start with a bike that kind of fit me, but had these 5-inch head tubes and these big gaps between the top tube and the down tube.
Yeah. And
they were just really shitty bikes. So he would cut those things up and but ultimately, man, the wheelbase was just short. And it was good for ABA, like super tight indoor racing. But man, when you got on any type of bigger track, those things were squirrely.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I switched over to the Skyway. I think I borrowed that thing out of Bartlett's garage when Richie was living with him. So, yeah, good times, man. Yeah. But
I can't believe someone would trade frames between Saturday and Sunday.
That's so wild, huh?
I remember at the ABA Grands one year when Pistol Pete went from CW to Haro.
Yeah.
And I thought when I saw him show up in practice, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I thought to myself, oh, CW was such a chopper frame. Huh?
Yeah.
And then I looked at his Haro, and it was a complete chopper.
Yeah, it was the same. It's the same recumbent. They copied the recumbent.
Wow.
The same frame, just different stickers.
There was one other team that did that, I remember. Well, actually, there's a couple of teams. RevCore did it, right? On a weekend?
Yeah, but we didn't. But we just switched stickers. We didn't switch. The frames were the same.
Oh, okay.
They were just CW frames. So, but I think Charles may have switched bikes. It was the same frame, but a new bike that was painted a different color. So I think he brought two bikes.
Yeah.
But the frame was the same geometry and stuff. So it was like he was on CW and then on RevCore. I think he did that at the ABA Grands as well.
That was pretty
Charles Choo Choo Townsend.
Yeah.
Robbie would remember this because it happened in Jersey. It was a Jersey team, but when Thruster and Torker.
Wow.
Do you remember that, Robbie?
Yeah,
I think it was in the Armory or something. It was a Saturday. They were Thruster, and then they were Torker on Sunday.
Cool. That was such a cool brand, and it had like a lot of local kids, from Jersey on it. So it, like I always like wished I could be a part of that. But what a rad brand. It was kind of going down as I was coming up type thing,
They had some fast people, man.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Tim Judge was a Thruster guy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Judge started out Thruster guy.
Yeah.
Thruster.
Well, Robbie, again,
yes, sir.
on just from all of us, we we love you, man. You're always family to us. Your mom will always be family to us.
Yes.
No matter how many years pass, no matter how big a mogul you get, no matter how many bike companies you own, you're still going to be our little baby Naga. And but we talk without you here. We talk about you all the time. How proud we are of you and how much we just respect you.
Likewise, I'm so stoked you guys are doing the Dirty Knobs too, because these stories got to get told, man. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, man.
Good times.
Well, man, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy, multi-million, zillion-dollar
here
company.
we go. Anytime,
do this for us.
We're just trying to keep the lights on.
You gonna ask him that tough question, Mike? Or
I am going to ask him the tough
Yes.
question. It'll be up to him to answer it any way he wants to.
Yeah.
Hey, Robbie, there's a question I've been wanting to ask. It's burning on my mind and has been for a long time. I do love you dearly. I have the utmost respect for you. But when you burn a friend, you burn a friend.
Yeah.
And I want to know what happened. You started a company, and it was your company, and then suddenly you had to start another one.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what happened?
So originally, I was pretty naive. I was living in Cali, obviously, and I had a lot to learn business-wise, but I was really excited to partner up with Chris Moeller because he obviously was successful. I had ridden him before earlier on in my career, and I had broken my foot, and I didn't have a lot going on. I was kind of coming to the end of my riding, and definitely still had tons of passion for it and just wanted to find something to do. And he approached me on kind of running the front end, and he would do the back end of a new brand called Fit. And at first it was supposed to be a small garage brand, maybe a couple guys. But once the word got out that I was doing it, obviously we assembled pretty much the best team in the game pretty quickly, maybe within the first 6 to 10 months. So now
you were crushing it everywhere I saw, any magazine, anything. You were eating it up, man, and your riders were on the forefront of everything.
And the dynamic there, Mike, was he was kind of the antithesis. S&M was like kind of the opposite of Fit, so that's why it worked so good. He had his DIY punk beliefs, and I had my kind of vision of having a more urban, kind of well-rounded brand that appealed to a lot more people. So pretty quickly we got bigger than S&M. And, obviously I think that's where kind of some of the kind of frustration between the two brands started, you know what I mean? And, but I figured it was all coming back to the same building. So that was a good thing. I really just thought, hey man, the bigger we can grow this thing, we can all prosper. We can all do more. We can pay riders to live indoors. We can be a better company for riders, and that was my goal. That's why we did Complete Bikes. We were kind of the first rider-owned company to do Complete Bikes, but I knew by doing Complete Bikes, we would have more revenue to do more cool shit. So, we were kind of the first team to get to Barcelona, we did traveling wise, and we did a bunch of kind of groundbreaking stuff, and we had a really good kind of rise to the top. And at one point, I think a BMX Complete Bike was just, it was just almost called to Fit. Like it was almost not a lot of other options, and that's how kind of big it got. But needless to say, I think it was one of those situations where we weren't seeing eye to eye. We had a lot of creative differences, and for whatever reason, he had a lot of animosity towards me. I can only chalk it up to maybe it got a little too big too quick, and he was he was pissed about that, and kind of slowly started to push me out of the brand. And these things happen. I've learned now. I've talked to a lot of other people in other industries. If they didn't have a contract, they kind of went through the same thing. So my advice is always have a contract if you're getting into business with somebody. So, lesson learned. And I was able to use my 10 years there as an education to put it towards Cult. And, I think a lot of people were like, oh, were you planning Cult while you were at Fit? Or, was it unscrupulous? Or no, not at all. We didn't plan a damn thing until we were out of there. But we definitely did talk about it. When you're being treated bad, you're gonna be like, man, this kind of sucks. What are we gonna do? So yeah, the ideas were on the table to leave and do it again. And I was blessed to have a few of the team riders have my back early on and give me the confidence that I could do it again. And, you know, I had my Jerry Maguire moment, you know, I'm out of here, you know, who's with me? Then it was just, you know, just crickets, you know, walked out of there alone, you know, essentially. And, you know, had my meltdown, and luckily my wife, you know, talked me off the ledge and further gave me confidence that I could do it. And we had that 10-year kind of education. So when the problems would come up with Colt, I would just dodge them because I had already done it, you know, and we were able to ramp Colt up, you know, just as quick. So I think that's what I'm most proud about, that I took, you know, kind of a skeleton, you know, 4-man crew and just pinned it and progressed as fast as we have. And the fact that the team riders had my back and made a commitment to the new brand, to Colt, and what they've done, you know, and I think I'm proving that, because now we're, you know, 11 years in, and, you know, some of these riders are older, they're in their, you know, mid-30s, and I have no plans of, you know, they'll ride for Colt for as long as they want, you know what I mean? But you know, I owe them that based on their commitment to me, you know?
Yeah.
I can just tell you that, like EC said, it's a testimony to who you are, and the type of man that you have become. Your dad would definitely be proud, and I know we all are.
And you know, all our parents, you know, we've always, funny, they're older, so they have that wisdom, right? And you know, he's been right a handful of times, man, and it's almost creepy that he's like, was so right about things that I thought was completely, I disagreed with him, but he was right every time. I got to give him that. Like, and it blows my mind, because I'd be like, "No, Dad, you don't get it." And then a year later, I'd be like, "Son of a bitch, he was right."
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew we should have taken the refrigerator out of that motorhome and stashed beer right there.
Oh man.
Robbie, did you know you were going to start another company? Like, did you leave knowing it was going to happen? Or
You know,
no?
here's the oh shit moment. So I'm in a ditch. I'm shooting photos of Chase Hawk and Dakota Roche and Chase Dehart, and we're in this ditch, and these kids come riding down, and they can't believe we're there. They're just stoked out of their mind. They're riding the guys' bikes, and it's just this whole kind of thing going on. And I was like, you know, this was towards the very end of it, and I remember thinking to myself that in that moment, like, I know this is what BMX is to me and my people, and I know I can do it again. So that was kind of the oh shit moment. And then, you know, basically we knew, you know, we kind of, our obligation to fit was finish the video, go to Nora Cup. We cleaned up, we won a bunch of Nora Cups, we premiered the video, we were flying high, and I thought it would buff out. I thought things would be able to move forward, but it just wasn't an environment that I could keep working in, you know? And, you know, I think that's what's amazing about BMX. You know, it'll show you these highs and these lows, but if you power through, you'll come out the other side better, you know, for all of it. And that's how I feel now, you know?
Well, that's what BMX is, man. The highs and the lows. And it's still about those kids riding in the ditch or jumping the jumps, or
totally,
or riding EC's backyard. Yeah, that's still BMX to all of us.
Yeah. It's like, man. Took me to Jones Track, Mike. That was I had never even seen anything like that, you know?
That's what happens when your friend has a tractor.
There we go.
And a field, right? We're building jumps.
That's right.
A little different than the trail jobs you guys did.
Yeah.
We just fired up the tractor.
Awesome. Right on.
Well, man, again, I just want to say how much we appreciate, respect, and love you, Robbie.
Likewise, brother. Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome.
Anything
Best.
Yep. The Naga.
The Naga.
Let's
Man.
do it sometime, boys. Thank you for this.
Hey, I got to tell you one more thing, Robbie, before I let you go. I just got a text from Ian over at Pat 605.
Oh, okay.
And he said his business card says HNIC after his name. What does that stand for? I said,
you know what that
I already did. Head Naga in charge.
Yeah. I can't believe you found the photo of the baby Naga. That's amazing. Oh, God, it's so embarrassing.
We told Bomber and Grubbs this story on what the baby naga is.
Ah,
They were dying.
Head Naga in charge.
Good deal,
Yep.
brothers.
All right, guys. Hey, man, thank you so much, Robbie, for your time.
We love you, brother.
Later, dirty knobs.
Yeah, Rob.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, you bunch of dirty knobs. I'm going to send a box out to somebody who subscribes. So please do that. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Comment if you have anything to say. We'd love to hear it. And we will be back out here in 2 weeks with another one. And thanks to our sponsors. Speaking of which, we are going to read some commercials to you now. Thanks for showing our sponsors the love, because they're showing it to us. Thanks again, and we'll catch up to you soon. And then sing it out right now.
All right. Coming live and direct from the Colt Clubhouse in Santa Ana, California. Come on down and get all your BMX needs. We're giving away free air for your tires. That's all I got, brother.
That's great. That's great. All right. Now.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Kinda, designed for your journey. On the road, on the trail, or on the racetrack, you can count on Kinda quality. Our tires are engineered for performance and value across a wide range of interest and applications. See why Kinda is the right choice. It's your move.
Imagine how bikes can lead to a healthier, more connected world. Bikes set us apart, free to explore and move and experience our relationships with people and places like nothing else can. At Ceres, we don't just imagine a more bikeable world. We're all in, making it happen.
SR Sun Tour shares your passion of cycling. We are committed to giving you the highest level of service in the industry, along with products that hopefully will exceed your expectations. Serving riders is the cornerstone of our business, and we pride ourselves in doing it.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Velocity Bike Park is the premier bike park for riders in Southern California, with 25 miles of world-class trails, obstacles, flow track, and races for mountain biking, gravel, and BMX.
ABC, the American BMX company, bringing you brands like Race Inc., Cook Brothers, Botima, Box, Kuwahara, and BMX Action. Check them out at abmxc.com. Hey, the Dirty Knobs are going to be live. Can you believe it? Live event at the Frogtown Classic BMX Days. That's going to be at Angels Camp, California, September 9th through the 11th. Check it out. Make sure you go on to Facebook and look at Frogtown Classic BMXdays.com. Check out all the information. And again, hey, the Dirty Knobs will be live. We've got a show planned, and there'll all be kinds of shenanigans for you.
ODI Grips, the world leader in grip technology, home of the lock-on grip system. Check them out over at www.odigrips.com. Mega Design Group is a full-service marketing firm. They handle everything from logos to advertising to packaging. Having over 25 years experience in the print and marketing fields, they can handle any hurdle. Check it out at megadesigngroup.com. Cool Stop Brake Pads. High performance bicycle brake pads since 1977. Check them out at coolstop.com. That's KOOLSTOP.com. Supercross BMX. What can we say? Our lives revolve around BMX. Founded in 1989 to build the ultimate BMX race frame, they've never strayed from that vision. Hey, for more details, check it out at supercrossbmx.com. Amy Grips is dedicated to using all of its manufacturing strengths, including engineering, research, and development, to successfully prepare for future growth while demanding that the quality of its products provide consumers with complete satisfaction. Making grips since 1974. Check them out at amegrips.com.
If you have a Senna cycling helmet, you know what it's like to ride connected. Senna got their start in communications for the motorcycling industry, where they're now a leader. Senna brought their same tech that goes into those helmet-to-helmet motorcycle communication systems into cycling helmets. Sena bike helmets have an integrated microphone and 2 speakers hidden right into the shell. Sena helmets connect together on a mesh or Bluetooth network so you can talk to your friends while you ride without shouting over wind noise, even if you're not side by side. That is super cool, especially in the trails. Sena helmets also pair with smartphones, so you can listen to your playlist without blocking out ambient noise, and you can take phone calls and even hear turn-by-turn GPS directions.
Check out the podcasts that we listen to. These are our friends. We wouldn't be here without their help, so give them a check out. And finally, keep it dirty.
Okay. Hey, Robbie, one last thing. We're going to ask you for, will you just...
That was good shit.
Oh, yeah, always good stuff, man.
That was good shit.
We're going to ask you for, you don't have to give us anything. We don't want to. Okay. If you want to give us something to give away, other than weed grinders.
and you got grinders and lighters?
You got something new.
Yeah, I got a whole kit.
I know it's your number one selling accessory, but man, we're good without that. Hey, and we want to send you one of these beauties.
Yeah.
Right here, look at this. We had them made in your size.
Oh, thank you. Whatever's the biggest. That's fucking awesome.
Yep. But we are going to ask you for it, if you don't mind, dude. Would you just talk into the mic and give us a 20 or 30-second cult commercial?
Seriously?
Yeah, right now. Yeah, just give me a hey.
Throw the Hollywood cheese in there.
Yeah, throw the cheese. I love the cheese. Hey,
it's the cheesier the better.
Cult tires.
Oh, man.
1 for 10, 2 for 25.
Hey, it's Hollywood here.
Yes.
And the color of those tires matches the color of your hair.
Oh my God. Oh shit.
Putting them on a spot.
If she hides and you can't find her, just get yourself a cult weed grinder.
Oh my God, Mike.
Yeah, terrible.
It's terrible.
It's a curse, man. It's a curse.
Yeah.
Get yourself a weed grinder.
Hey, you're good at that
What
shit.
the fuck?
It really is, huh?
Man.
Terrible. It's a curse, man.
Hey, I gotta give you that code too, right?
Sure, give us a code.
Discount code and a giveaway. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Hello, this is Robbie Morales coming live and direct from the Cult Clubhouse in Santa Ana, California. Come on down and, oh man, this is too hard, Mike.
Yes.
Yes. That's right. We've got free air for tires.
Come on down and
I don't care if you jump it. Come on in here, we'll pump it. We get the tires and tires.
Why are you
Come on, get it.
Yeah.
What was that? We've got some Puerto Rican soda in the refrigerator. What was that shit you're trying to give us?
Oh, man.
That's right.
Oh,
You did have the Puerto Rican soda, didn't you?
Some coffee drink too.
Well,
Yeah, that's
oh
right.
man. All right. Well, Robbie, it was great. We're going to use the air in the tires commercial for you.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, all right. Hey,
Boys.
do not forget.
Yeah. All right.
Tell your mom we said hi. Send her our love, and tell her we're going to put her on a podcast.
She would love that, actually.
She would, huh?
Definitely. She'd be so pumped.
Could you imagine?
We're going to have a beep, but we have to have a beeper button.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, she's so inappropriate still. I love it. She told me the other day, I love burritos, but how many of these things can these people eat? I was like, holy shit, Ma, you can't say that.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you can.
Oh, yes, you
can.
Yes, you can.
All right, kid. Get home. Get
All right.
home.
Love you, boys.
Hey, love you, man.
Yeah,
Love you, Rob.
Thank you.
All right, Robbie.
Cheers.
Later, bud.
Later, bud.